Church, and this is the first of what I hope will be a weekly series of talks that we'll post here on Seekers and Cynics on Facebook, and we'll also post them on our Bodmin Road Church YouTube channel, so you can watch them in either place. And all we're going to do is just explore some of the issues and questions around the Christian faith. And you are very welcome, and I hope you will just please feed back and feed in. If you've got issues, if you've got questions, feed them in, and we'll try and weave those into the course of the series. This is for anybody. You may be coming at this a little bit with questions as a cynic perhaps, and that's fine. Or you may be coming at this with a real just desire to understand a bit more and find out a bit more. And so, you know, that's my hope, that as carefully as possible we can just hopefully answer some of those questions and issues and thoughts that you might have. And I want to start today with the question that people have often asked me, and that's this: how do you know God is real? How do you know God is real? And, you know, that's a fair question. I'm going to answer that as personally as I can, really. It is a very personal question, isn't it? I don't want to get into too much theology, but for me personally, it starts with my experience. I became a Christian when I was 16. I asked Jesus Christ to take my life, to come and live in me by his Holy Spirit. And since then, I would say to you that I've experienced a relationship, a friendship with God through Jesus, that's sort of been experienced in prayer, in answers to prayer, in guidance, in strength and help, peace and forgiveness, all breadth and package of experience of a relationship with God. And that's where it starts for me. Now, I accept that some people might say, well, you know, that is just subjective experience, Richard. That could be all in your head. And I understand that objection. I mean, I have to say that many of the answers to prayer and the guidance have certainly not been in my head. They've been things that have happened in my life. But nevertheless, I accept that you could still say that's a little bit subjective. And so the logical part of me, and by training I'm a scientist, I studied maths and physics at university, has done its best to try and look at the evidence as well, because that's important. We should never just rely on our experience, should we, however real that is. And so I've tried, even though I felt I knew God in my heart, I've tried to think about it with my head as well and look at some of the evidence. And for me, that comes in a number of areas. The first of those is just creation, the world around us. The fact that anything exists at all is just remarkable. This universe, this world, from the tiniest flower to the stars which burn by turning hydrogen into helium, all of it is absolutely remarkable. And I just cannot accept that that is pure accident. And in fact, even the, atheist physicists accept that the odds against it being accident are extremely high, but they've no other place to go. But I just can't accept that the world around us, with all its beauty and intricacy and its impression of design, that it doesn't actually have a designer. So that's one area of evidence. The second area of evidence for me is our human experience of things like morality. We believe in right and wrong. Where does that come from? And spirituality. People all over the world have this instinct, or many of them, that there is a higher being, that there is a God. Where would those things come from? If we are just made of atoms of carbon and nitrogen and hydrogen, where did those atoms acquire the thought that there might be right and wrong? So our very human experience suggests to me that there is a higher being that has made us to be like him, made us with a moral side and a spiritual side, and that's what we experience. Although sometimes we forget where it's come from. So that's the second bit of evidence for me. our morality, our spirituality. And the third bit of external evidence for me is Jesus. When I look at the New Testament accounts of Jesus and his miracles, and particularly the resurrection, there is something there that you can scrutinize. There is documentary eyewitness evidence there that can be analysed. And the more I've analysed it, the more I've looked at it, the more it strikes me as having a profound ring of truth. And so, for me, how do I know God is real? It's a combination of experience, personal experience, and evidence. Evidence that I've looked at. Creation, our human experience of morality and of Jesus Christ. I accept that none of that is proof, but if you're looking for proof, don't forget the atheists don't have any proof either. Ultimately, wherever we end up is a matter of faith. But what can you do if you want to strengthen that faith? If you're somebody who says, I'd like to have faith, or I'd like to have more faith, well, there is something you can do, because God won't jump out from behind a bush to surprise us. He doesn't come that cheap, and he doesn't behave that cheaply. But we can grow our faith and strengthen our faith by exploring the experience and examining the evidence. You can explore the experience of God by trying to pray, beginning to pray. Prayer is just talking to God, and perhaps we'll look at that in another session. And you can examine the evidence. Read the New Testament Gospels. Ask yourself, do these sound true? Or listen to some more of these talks. But if we want our faith to grow, we've got to do something. Jesus said, whoever seeks will find. And I'll leave that challenge with you, just to do a little seeking. And I hope this series